dreamers, how are you? Well, I am also stressed, but I'm still fine. So, firstly, my name is Annalyn Verdida Pilayo from Masbate City. I am 18 years old and a first-year college student taking Bachelor of Science in Accountancy, Section 1D. So, this video is hereby assigned to us by our English instructor, Miss Delphin Omega. This video pertains to Dyadic Communication through face-to-face interview. And I also dedicated this video to my parents, my friends, my classmates, and to all viewers. So, to formally open or start the said interview, I would like to give you some introduction. So please stand by, and at this moment, I would like to inform you that for today's video, I will be having a Dyadic Communication. And I know that there are some of you already know what it is, and there are also some of you who don't know what Dyadic Communication is. Now, allow me to share with you what is the definition of Dyadic Communication. So, when we say Dyadic Communication, it is an interaction between two persons. Even if two persons are present in a situation, it is only two communicators that play a fundamental role. It is a person-to-person or one-on-one transaction and one of the commonest forms of speech communication, wherein a person will share or ask some questions to another person. Then the other person will respond or react to what is being provided by the another person. Then, it is also one of the example of two-way communication because of having two persons who are communicating or exchanging statements. Continue with, these are the flows of the said interview. For the first interview, I will going to interview my mother about these two questions. For the first question, we have, what is your biggest challenge in life during this pandemic? Then, for the second question, what can you say about the COVID-19 variants? Are you in favor of COVID vaccination? Why or why not? Then for the second interview, my mother would interview me with these three questions. For the first question, as a member or as a student and as a member of the community, what are your contributions during this pandemic? For number two, what are the qualities in choosing the best leader? Why? Then, for the last question, how can you be an effective communicator and good listener? Before we will begin the said interview, I am going to introduce to you my mother. Now, let me introduce to you my mother. She is the light and shining armor in our family. Words cannot express how much I love her. Actually, we've been having a problem for almost a year, but still now it's not yet been solved. So, I know it's hard for us to think that why these certain things happen to us. But we only believe that in every pain there is a purpose, and everything in God's hand is now. Let's welcome my mother, Helene V. Pelayo, my twin. At 41 years old and standing, I choose her to be interviewed by me because I know that there is something in her heart that needed to be shared. Let me ask my mother if she's really ready to be asked by her daughter. Are you ready to be asked, Ma?
Already.
Okay, it's good to hear that. Then, for the first question, what is your biggest challenge in life during this pandemic?
O sa tanan nga kaning abot nga pandemic sa among pamilya, grabe gid kalisod ang ako na tagamtaman. Nga grabe gid kalisod sa among panginabuhi tungod aning pandemya aning abot karong panahon na. Maayo unta ihunong na lang unta ning pandemya kay aron ang among panginabuhi nga mag-continue sad. Kay grabe ging lisura, grabe ging ang kaning pagsuway sa Ginoo nga kaning pandemic. Grabe ang tao nagkalisod-lisod tungod aning pandemic. Makaluluoy kaayo in taon ang may mga trabaho. Kayo dili makapabaksin, dili man makasuod sa trabaho. Kailangan na magpabakuna para makasuod gid trabaho.
Let's proceed to the second question. What can you say about the COVID-19 variants? And are you in favor for COVID-19 vaccination? Why or why not?
So ako lagi ka-istorya ning COVID-19. Una sa tanan, murag ako dili ito mutuan ni. Kay sa unang panahon nawa pa ni inaning COVID-19 kanang ubog sipon wala man ay giingon nga COVID na karon na anang may pangalan basta magkasakit-sakit na ubog sipon sabi na bilantan finding sa doktor COVID ayon unang ang kanang sang variant na tinuod ay istorya raman na kaya aron maka umarta gyud.
Are you in favor of COVID-19 vaccination? Why or why not?
Ay ang giingon sad nga kinahanglan gid magpa-vaccination pero ambot lang kay murag ang daghang nagpa-vaccine na lang may ubog sipon sa katong wala na vaksini pa walay gibat yan pero karon na ay pada sa mga ospital tungod anak lang vaksinasyon agi baksinan muna lagi ko motoo ang warta lang gid ni so mao lang to
Okay.
pasulti nga sa COVID-19 o variant.
Okay, thank you. I guess that she's done telling with us what's her opinion about the COVID-19 variants and for the COVID-19 vaccination and for the biggest challenge that he is facing. Let's move on to the next one. For the second interview, my mother would interviews me for the 3 questions I have said earlier. Now you can ask me.
As a student and as a member of the community, what are your contributions during this pandemic?
As a student and as a member of the community, I understand how strict it is to be socially productive. And actually, I know that we've been suffering for how many years from the very beginning of the COVID-19 up until now that it has been still arises. But through the positive reach of social media, I have given myself the opportunity to spread happiness, laughter, inspiration to others. I know that it is not that huge communal for advancement, but I am standing up here sharing positive vibes to others, words to ponder and everything because I know that they need that particular thing to be filled with positive. And the inner me shouting that let us follow the rules and regulations being mandated by the government and let us stand as a good role model as well.
Question: what are the qualities that are needed in choosing the best leader Why?
Okay, thank you. Qualities are extremely essential as a leader. Well, it is also important for us to choose the best leader that is tough but has a good heart. It doesn't matter how fearful he is as long as he can lead. Leader is not easy. You have to find the equilibrium to solve the certain problems. On the other hand, suffrage does not demand wit, yet thoughtfulness. We never wanted a particular place, community, or tribe to be ruined by having an unaccountable leader. That's why, in choosing our best rightful leaders, let us remind ourselves of the possibilities of our actions. Thus, truthfulness, for me, is the quality that one should possess in choosing the best
The last
leader.
question, how can you be an effective communicator and a good listener?
Okay? In contextual situations, whether a face-to-face conversation or a phone call, it was given that we tend to receive and convey messages. The best way to be an effective communicator is to listen before having reactions. Also, we must be coherent in all possible assertions so that there is no misunderstanding and to avoid communication breakdown. On the other hand, to be a good listener it is not just about focusing on the uttered statements. Words and phrases, nonverbal cues are also considered to be vital in receiving messages. Shortly, to be a good listener is to be effectively balance the verbal and nonverbal connection to the message being delivered. For sharing us your thoughts and opinions about what we have been doing earlier. Okay, thank you so much for spending us your time just to watch my video about the Dyadic Communication through face-to-face interview with my mother. And to my mother, thank you so much for sharing us your opinions or thoughts about the COVID-19 variants or the COVID-19 vaccination and your biggest challenge in life. I know that life is not just an easy, that full of happiness, but also it has problems that need to be solved. Let us just go through it, pray every day until God hear your prayers. Then, thank you so much for everything. May God bless us. Thank you.